No, they will not. That last part wasn't part of the thing.
This week on Dueling Review, we review Clean Room number 13, written by Gail Simone with art by John Davis Hunt. In the aftermath of Hell Above, Heaven Below, we go back to the beginning to learn how Astrid was first affected after her hospitalization, through the eyes of one who cannot see what she sees, her would-be assassin and brother, Pete Mueller. What is Clean Room about? I'm not really clear. I've not ever read any Clean Room stuff. What is this? What's this book about?
The thing about Clean Room is it's not actually clear what it is about. The first issue of Clean Room was set in the past mostly, and it was featuring Astrid Mueller, who we see in this issue. As a very young girl, some sort of creature, some sort of presence possessed a man to run her over. It looked like an accident until he backed up and ran her over again.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. And there are these things, creatures, I don't know. They're not really named as such, but they seem to be presences of perhaps a demonic sort of
Well,
thing.
they kind of address it in this issue that there's some beings from another dimension or some other place.
Mm-hmm. And that is the first time we've actually seen the explanation of what they are. But basically, throughout the story thus far, they've shown up, and every time they show up, something terrible happens.
So this is a self-help organization that does some really crazy stuff, and in the behind the scenes, they are fighting demons and stuff.
Yes, but Astrid herself has been very, very questionable. She's to put it in comic terms, she's a Lex Luthor type thus far, because she owns and operates the Mueller Foundation, and she controls the titular Clean Room. And in the Clean Room, basically, you can be not just shown your worst nightmare, but live and actually physically interact with your worst nightmare. So throughout the story, when there are people who have been evil or people that she disagrees with, she's taken them into the Clean Room and forced them to deal with the most terrible moments in their life. And somehow in the Clean Room, those things become real.
Real manifestation. So like if you open the door, the things could get out and run around.
Exactly. If if you're afraid of the evil monkey in your closet, then that evil monkey in your closet will have the ability to affect you while you're in the Clean.
I thought I turned my web camera off so you couldn't see the closet behind me. Thanks, man.
Exactly. And that's why
she has some kind of weird psychic powers too, right? Or does she has some like ability to see stuff?
It's unclear, because something about Astrid's childhood accident has given her, it's not necessarily an ability, but it's given her an aspect of something that seems to be related to the entity things. And if you actually watch and read the story in previous issues, she has had at least one entity that was possibly under her control. Maybe. It is really, really difficult stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't read issue 1 in a while, and I've been kind of spottily bouncing through it.
Oh, okay.
So the last one that I know that I read at a regular pace was either 10 or 11. So before I got 13, I grabbed 10, 11, 12, 13 and went through them. And man, this is disturbing.
It does seem, apparently in this issue, a young child has been discovered, which is actually Astrid's niece.
Yes.
And it seems to be possessed, or seems to be one of these awful demon creatures from another dimension.
Somehow, yes.
This is like a pseudo. This is like a Buckaroo Banzai against the Lectroids from the 8th dimension, but she's an evil cult instead of a cool rock and roll scientist group.
She is not necessarily an evil cult, but definitely a cult that has very specific, not entirely pleasant goals. And in this issue, we actually see Killian, the blonde woman, who has been Astrid's right-hand woman, when she is forced to put on the blue scrubs, which means you're going into the Clean Room as someone who's about to be
killed.
Well, not killed, but forced to be, in the Clean Room.
So she
panics.
So is that something that happens in the series? I'm just curious
Mhm.
again. Is it more like a, not Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or creepy comics or anything where it's like time for you to relive your most horrific event, and then they experience that, and then as she walks away, they're like paralyzed, with fear on the floor, and they've gotten their comeuppance for something?
No, I mean, we haven't it hasn't been anthologized, but when these things happen, when someone is in the clean room, the terrible things that, are in their past come after them. Chloe, who we see in this issue, was in the clean room and saw her boyfriend,
Yeah.
who killed himself under
Mm-hmm.
the influence of one of the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw him the way she found him after he killed himself.
Yeah.
And it is very dark stuff, and it makes you really, really never want to be in a dark alley with Gail Simone's
I
psyche.
know that you've said it's super creepy and dark, and I remember you did the review of issue 1, and I've seen some other people comment about it, about how creepy and disturbing it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this issue was, where that falls on the previous issue spectrum, but I thought this was kind of tame.
This issue is not terrifying. This issue mostly has inexplicable horrors.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most terrible thing in this issue is just the baby. And the sequence with the baby in the clean room is just terrible.
I know that fear of a parent, and you have to check your kid out for the 666 tattoo. I made sure we did that on our first child. I didn't do it for the second child. Make sure you look
for the line under it, because otherwise it might just be a 999. Right. That's the problem. I didn't ever have to do that because,
you never know. You got to be ever vigilant.
No.
For demon babies.
You don't.
For demon babies.
My kid was adorable.
And hopefully, that's how they get you, with their adorableness and their cuteness. And then eventually they reveal themselves in the last couple of pages of this issue to be demon spawn from another dimension. By the way, I'm going to make your guy kill himself.
Philip says hello, blah, 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 blah. Did anybody ever tell you that sometimes your worldview is actually the scariest thing in the universe?
Most of it is me joking around. I think that's the thing, is that I know those things that kind of make people go, what? And so I'll play off on that, but no, my worldview is pretty normal compared to a lot of other people. So
you get up in the morning and put your tinfoil hat on one leg at a time.
No, I really don't. I'm not really worried about that, because I work down in the basement all day, so I have very little fears that those rays.
Yeah, you don't even put on pants to work in the basement.
No, I do put on pants, because the guy comes and delivers stuff all the time, so I have to run upstairs and answer the door.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I like to say that stuff because it freaks people out like you.
There are several moments in this issue that are visual, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. There's one on page 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that guy is. There's the one with the baby, and there's the one where it looks like we're about to see Killian get, fed to the clean room, and then somehow the most terrifying thing in the issue for me is Astrid changing her mind.
Because that's not something she's done before, right?
No, Astrid changing her mind is terrifying to me. And on page 10, it's a literal change of heart where she comes in and asks them to forgive her.
Mm.
And I'm like, how much control does this woman actually have?
Well, maybe she's more freaked out. Maybe because of this baby, this kid. That's why she's more freaked out about, what's coming, or what's been done, or what has she done to bring this upon herself. And the more she does these things, maybe more things wicked will befall on her because she's doing this. That's kind of was my interpretation of that.
That's one of the wonderful things about this book, though, is it lets you do that. It does not explicitly make it clear what changed her mind, and it gives you room for ambiguity. And in some stories, someone would have gone, "Oh my God, why did that happen?" And Astrid would have been blah bitty blue bitty blah.
Yeah.
But in this story, somebody's like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "I'm not sure what you think you believe you saw, but you need to keep it to yourself."
Yeah. There's some humanity in that woman. Yeah. That other group is definitely a cult, and that their leader guy at the beginning of the issue has to be infected with one of those creatures, because I forget who it was telling the story of how her friend was taken up by these things, and half of her body was aged to 100 years and the other half was left pristine. And then we see this guy, and it's like half of his body has been desiccated and the other half of his body looks normal. He's like, imagine Jonah Hex turned up to 13.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy looks like.
It is gross beyond the gross.
Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, I did. But I mean, this is something that Gail Simone specifically does well. When the book started, it was clearly a story where Chloe was the hero and Astrid is the terrible threat.
Mm.
But as we've gone through the story and through the issues, it has become clear that I have no idea what's going on. Astrid may actually be a secret good guy like Professor Snape, but then we get to a point where I don't know that anybody's good. I don't know that anybody is evil. And the stuff that's happening here it's the kind of awful that you sit and you obsess about. I mean, if I go and I watch a slasher movie and I'm like, oh, that was pretty terrible, you might sit there and think that was a really neat scene. How did they do that? Or you might laugh. When I was a kid, one thing that stuck with me, Friday the 13th, Part 3, where Jason took a harpoon and killed two people who were having sex at the same time. Yeah. That scene was not scary to me.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we see in this, like the woman where half of her body is 28 and half is 105, that is legitimately unnerving on levels that I can't even. Is that a
body horror thing, or is that the horrors from beyond kind of thing? The Lovecraftian horror versus, slasher flick horror.
It could be. And part of it is the fact that this is a story about people who are absolutely at the mercy of these things. And really, the creatures don't even treat humanity as an irritant. You know how if you and I have there's a raccoon in your house.
There's a raccoon in my house. There's a platypus.
If there's a raccoon in your house, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to get this raccoon out of my house. And you call the raccoon people and they come in and they're like, we can't get the raccoon out and not hurt the raccoon.
I don't care.
Are you going to say to yourself, am I going to save the raccoon, or am I going to, go through and make sure my house is not lit on fire by an angry pyromaniac raccoon? The raccoons out here have knives, but these are the things.
I've already told my wife that if we ever get a rat in this house, we're just burning the whole house down, because that's the only way to be sure.
Right, and that's even more than the creatures treat humans.
Well, they treat them the way it came off to me. The way it came off to me was more like you're a wasp nest, and I don't care what happens to you, or you're a spider, and I don't care what happens to you, or you're a hill full of ants, and I will kick that hill around and stomp on those ants, and it means nothing to me because you're right, you're an irritant.
Yeah, you're a bug, and if I get really bored, I'm going to pull off your wings and poke at you for a while.
Yeah, at least with a raccoon, it's got that really cute little bandit face, so that you know that he might just make off with your Egg McMuffin in the middle of the night or something.
Bandit face.
Yep.
Bandit face.
I don't know. This is the first issue I've ever read of it. This is jumping on point for a new arc, I believe.
Yes, a new arc with a new artist.
And so I thought everything was fine. I don't know. It was interesting enough, but I don't think there was enough in here if this was supposed to be a jumping on point for me. I'm not sure that this is something that would keep my attention. I needed something a little bit more as far as the creep factor or something like that. But it's a good issue. I mean, I enjoyed the writing. You're right. Gail Simone has a great grasp of the language and how to give each character very unique things to say. Mm-hmm. And I love that as far as the writing. And the art was fine, too. I enjoyed the art. Really good. But as I said, I'm not sure as a casual reader if this would be something that would keep my attention beyond this. I think this might be something that I would have to read in a trade and then decide, hey, do I want to continue on with it?
I would actually recommend trades on Clean Room because each issue is a different experience. And that's something that happens with a lot of writers. And it happens to me a lot with Gail, is her stuff. I feel like it reads better in larger chunks. The same thing that I say about Neil Gaiman, the same thing that I say about Brian Bendis, or one of the things that I say about Brian Bendis. It reads better in larger sets, not so much it has to be written for a trade, but more each chapter sometimes is so compartmentalized
Right.
that parts of the story aren't even referenced. So I agree with you. If this is the first clean room you've ever read, it's not going to have that same hit that it was for me when I read issue 1, because, oh my God, issue 1 is just like scary.
Cool.
So yeah.
But is this a thumbs up for you? Thumbs down? Recommend it? Skip it? What is it?
Definitely a thumbs up. I wouldn't start here, but if you read this and you're like, oh, this is not scary at all, go back and read the first 10 and then I'll get back with me.
Okay. All right.
It's
Cool.
scary. It's scary, man. You read the scary and you'd be like, it'll be scary.
Coming out next week from Dark Horse Comics, we have Black Hammer number 5.
I love that.
Briggs
show.
Land number 4. Mass Effect Omnibus Trade Paperback Volume 1. Lady Killer 2 number 3. And
that makes 5, by the way.
Spell on Wheels number 2 of 5 coming out next week. DC Comics, it looks like we are into already the 11th month of Rebirth.
Wow.
No, can't be. We're only like
Rebirth isn't monthly.
It's a twice a week. Twice a month.
Yeah, twice a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week thing, Mondays and Fridays. So we got
4 months in, and it's issue 327.
Aquaman number 11, Batman number 11, Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye number 2, Cyborg number 5. Let's see, Flash trade paperback volume 8, Zoom. Go pick that up so you can find out who Zoom is all about. He-Man
Zoom.
He-Man meets the Thundercats, or He-Man Thundercats crossover 2 of 6 comes out next week, as does Justice League number 9. Multiversity gets a trade paperback. Trinity number 3. There you go. IDW Publishing has Angry Birds Comics number 11, G.I. Joe Revolution number 1, Jack Boot and Iron Heel number 4. That's the final issue of that. Uncle Scrooge number 20, and Yakuza Demon Killers number 1 of 6. Yakuza Demon Killers number 1. You might want to check that one out, Matthew.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. If you fail to kill a demon, they have to cut off a finger. I bet that's how it works.
I don't.
You don't know. You have to read that first issue and find out. Image Comics has Alex and Ada, or Ada, complete collection deluxe edition hardcover for $50. Never know. Hunt number 4, Killer Be Killed number 4 comes out. That's a mature readers. Mechanism number 5. Reborn number 2, Snowfall number 7, Spawn 267. Southern Cross number 9 comes out. Over at the Marvel Comics, we have the all-new Wolverine number 14, Amazing Spider-Man number 21, Cage number 1 of 4, that's a second printing there, Doctor Strange number 14, Jessica Jones number 2, what else? Old Man Logan number 13, Silk number 14, Spider-Man number 9, CW2. That must be a Civil War 2 thing. Or is that Clone War 2? Man, now they got me all screwed up.
CW2? That's that new thing where they do the cartoon version of Vixen.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my honey. Oh, that's WB.
That's WB,
which turned into the CW.
Michigan J. Frog, yeah. Half of it was Paramount, and half of it was CW.
Adventure Time Comics number 5, Archie number 14.
Come on, grab your friend.
Backstagers number 4 of 8. I bet that turns into an ongoing series.
I bet it does, too. People are talking about that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Blade Bunny trade paperback volume 1, A New Hop.
Blade Bunny.
A New Hop.
Yeah, he's a bunny who's also half vampire. And he runs around and people are dancing under blood sprinklers, and Brad Dourif is in it.
Uses his lightsaber to kill people. Cinema Purgatorio number 7 comes out. Cosplayers Christmas Special, that's a $4.99 book. Dark Souls Winter's Spite number 1 of 4. Death Force number 6 of 6. Disney Pirates of the Caribbean number 2, or Caribbean number 2. Doctor
now
Who,
you're doing it on purpose.
Doctor Who 12th Year 2 number 11.
Or whom?
No, definitely Who. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, this printing is so small. Let's see. Robin Hood, I Love New York, number 6 of 12, halfway through that series. Harbinger Renegade, number 1. Kaiju Max, season 2, number 6. Kiss, number 2. Merman in My Tub. That's what it says. Merman. Oh, maybe the guy's name is Merman. Merman in My Tub. Graphic novel, volume 5.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. All that.
Yeah.
Not the same merman.
Could be. You never know.
Could
You're going to have to buy it and find out. Pathfinder Worldscape number 2. Pre-Code Classic Strange Suspense Stories. There's a number of different takes on that one. You can get a hard case for $60, or you can get the slipcase edition for $70. Rivers of London Black Mold number 2. Science Comics Volcanoes hardcover. $19.99 on that.
Yeah, those things are powered by vinegar and baking soda.
Ah, that's what it is.
That's what a science volcano does.
Science volcano.
Science!
Da,
da, da.
Let's see. Twinkle Stars graphic novel volume 1. That's $20. And Vampire Hunter D Message Mars, or maybe it's Massage Mars number 1.
No, it's Message Mares.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Yep, the old Message Mares.
Mares.
What used to be. Message Mares. Telenovela on Univision.
Next week on Dueling Review,
Thanos, number 1, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Mike Deodato. Venture into the dark depths of one of Marvel's most vile villains as he enacts vengeance on foes who abandon his way. In his absence, Thanos' grip on the cosmos is loosened as he returns to the stars to terrorize the galaxy once more, reborn and reinvigorated. Are there any that can stop him? Many will try, including members of his own family, Thane, Star Fox, and many others. Will they succeed where others have failed?
you can show your support for this show and everything we do at Major Spoilers by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Hey, we are not funded by a big corporation. We are not funded by a comic book company. We are funded by fine listeners like you, and we can certainly use your support, and you can support us and get some really cool things in return by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Thank you in advance for your support, and thank you for checking out Dueling Reviews, and we're going to talk with you next time when you will hear Matthew say,
Jimmy Smits.
This podcast is copyright 2016 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.